Hey there. So yesterday I was in Colorado National Monument in western Colorado, and I did a hike to the Devil's Kitchen. Now I am in Arches National Park, Utah, hiking to Devil's Garden. So I guess that's where they grow the vegetables for the Devil's Kitchen. I am at the end of the road that goes through the national park here at Arches, and then it is a loop. As you can see, a group up ahead. There are people behind me. Arches is really popular, but for a very, very good reason. It is so phenomenal. There is so much to see here. I have been here several times before and been to the main, Delicate Arch and many of the other ones in the spring of this year. Then I came here twice in the course of a couple of days or 3 or 4 days of exploring all around this area around Moab, the town at the center of the tourist action here of Arches National Park and Canyonlands and Dead Horse State Park and a lot more. But I've never done this hike here, so there are supposed to be a couple of arches up ahead and a Devil's Garden, whatever that is. I'm not sure yet. We will see. So landscape arch, 1 kilometer that way, and tunnel arch, 0.1 miles. Let's check that out first. So, since I've made videos here before, then I'm making videos talking about other subjects with the incredible landscapes as a backdrop. So the subject for this one is, which other travel vloggers on YouTube have I met? The moon out there, kind of a half moon. Tunnel arch this way, let's go see. And so I thought that this would be a fun topic because it will involve some travel stories, and then also it will give people some ideas of other people to follow. And so all of the other travel vloggers that I've met and I don't even remember at all how we initially met, but at the time my channel was like maybe 15,000 subscribers, something like that, and hers was even smaller. I think she's up over 50,000 subscribers now. But we had been in touch online, maybe through like Facebook or something, or I don't remember, but anyways, she was in San Diego and I was planning to go there. Just because I'd never been to the city. My family is all from the Los Angeles area, but I'd never been to San Diego. And so I got in touch with her and said, do you want to like meet up and do something? And we planned a road trip to Joshua Tree National Park and did an overnight camping. Actually, not camping. That was the initial plan. But then we got out there and it was cold, and so we stayed in the hotel. But yeah, we just like hung out for a couple of days and then went back to San Diego, and that was the last and only time that I've seen her. But check out her channel. Link will be down below. All right, getting a little bit quieter here. This is just amazing. And so the second travel vloggers that I met were the Vaga brothers, Marco and Alex. So that was the next year in 2017. I was in India, and they had posted some videos from India. And so I messaged them and asked, like, India is a massive country, of course. I think they'd actually posted a video from Pushkar, and I was in Pushkar, but I thought it was a total, unlikely think that I would be able to meet up with them because they would probably be somewhere else, but it turned out they were still in Pushkar in Rajasthan state in India. And I got a message back from like one of their like managers or whatever, not one of them, saying I guess they had corresponded with the two guys and arranged this and said, yeah, it was okay for me to meet them at this restaurant in Pushkar in the evening. I'm looking for someone, two people, two guys, the Baga brothers. I'm meeting them at a restaurant right around here, overlooking the lake. Now I just gotta find the place. Okay, gonna try down here. But they were gonna be having a little like meeting with a couple of their photographers, videographers that were helping them film their videos in a restaurant by the lake in Pushkar. Wait. 1969. No. Wow. Unbelievable. Look at that thing. Massive and beautiful. And so I met them at that restaurant and had a cool evening hanging out with them, talking, and then they were taking off like that night. And so we like wandered through the maze of streets of Pushkar as they were going to catch a taxi or something like that. And then they took off. And that is the one only time that I have met them. But I totally recommend checking out their channel. Now, they haven't been active in a while because Alex moved to New Zealand. And I guess Marco is just taking a break from YouTube. But still, they have a lot of amazing videos, very good quality, like professional, super high quality content from India and Uzbekistan and Jamaica and many other places around the world. And then I will mention here some travel vloggers that I almost met, which was Kara and Nate. So I was in Muscat, Oman. I had just gotten back from Nizwa, a couple of hours drive away, and I got a message from Nate that they were in Muscat, the capital of Oman. They had seen my videos from Oman because I'd been there for like 10 days at that point and had posted some videos already, and got a message from him saying, we're in Muscat tonight, and it was the same day that I was there. And he said, you want to meet up this evening? But the problem was that I got back like 6 or 7 in the evening or something after a long day of traveling by bus across Oman to get back to Muscat. And then I had a flight out the next day. I think going to Amman, Jordan. And the problem is that Muscat, the city, is massive, and they told me where they were, and it turned out that they were, ooh, deer out there. And so even though we were in the same city, they were like 15 or 20 miles away, and getting across the city is a pain. Neither of us had cars, and so it would have involved one of us going by taxi or meeting in the middle or whatever. Anyways, it was just not practical, and so it didn't happen. But great stuff, very engaging content. Check them out, Kara and Nate. So my next travel vlogger encounter occurred in Uzbekistan. So I got this amazing offer in an email in 2019 to meet up as part of a travel vloggers conference, a press trip it's called, to promote Uzbekistan as a tourist destination, all expenses paid. Flights there, 5-star hotels, a domestic flight within Uzbekistan, events, meals, like basically everything covered for like, I forget, 8 days or something like that. And so of course I said yes, with no idea who else would be there. It ended up being a big group of like 40 something or 50 or so different people, most of whom were Instagrammers and people that I didn't know. But there was a small group of other travel vloggers on YouTube who I knew very well because I followed them. So, Jacob Lukatis, that is how I ended up on the road trip with him to Iraq. That was a couple of weeks after the Uzbekistan trip. He is from Lithuania. Great stuff. Check him out. And then David Hoffman. David's been here from Florida. And then Alex Chacon, he is from Texas and a motorcycle enthusiast. He has some really epic adventures. And Jordan from Travel Light. She is from Florida also. A female travel vlogger and really good stuff. She hasn't posted in a while either. And then the entire High on Life crew, who are from Canada. Now, this was after the very tragic incident in which 3 of their members died in a waterfall accident in British Columbia. I think it had been like the previous year. And so there was a whole group of them, and I don't remember everyone's name, but Parker is kind of the main guy. And then Justice, and I forget who else. And then also at the Uzbekistan conference, I met Mike Chen of Strictly Dumpling, who is actually one of the few that I hadn't heard of before, even though he has the biggest channel of anybody, I think, in the travel vlogging department. I guess he's kind of mostly food vlogging. And then I met Devin Graham briefly, just one evening. I think that he had just flown in just for like maybe 1 or 2 days or something like that. But just like totally randomly saw him at a event one of the evenings and stopped and talked with him for a while. Devin Graham isn't exactly a travel vlogger, but he makes videos kind of all over the world with various subjects, a lot of different types of stuff. Many of them are kind of like stunt things, like people going on bikes off a big ramp into a lake, or like some kind of a big rope swing, or parkour, bike stunts, stuff like that. But then also other types of content. And so I think that that wraps up the people that I met at the Uzbekistan conference. Landscape Arch, September 1st, 1991. Hikers thought they heard cracks of thunder from distant clouds. Visitors resting under Landscape Arch noticed loud cracking and popping noises overhead. They fled as small rocks tumbled from the slender 306-foot-long span. Moments later, a 60-foot-long rock slab peeled away from the arch's right side. When the dust settled, 180 tons of fresh rock debris lay scattered on the ground. So I believe that I will be seeing that soon. It is that way. However, I had seen on the map, so Primitive Trail to 00 Arch, 2.1 miles, or Main Trail to 00 Arch, 1.1 miles. Well, I was thinking of doing it, so you can see here, that is kind of turning this into quite a long hike. 2, 3, 4 more miles to go when I've only hiked basically 1 mile so far. I'm trying to think if I want to add an extra mile, especially when you can see the sun is going down. This would be a bad one to get lost on in the dark. But this is going to be the one with less people on it. Well, I'm going to wander this way and maybe I'll just go for it. Make it a big day. So I have no idea where I'm staying tonight. It is like 6 o'clock or something, sun going down, and I don't have a hotel. Hotels in Moab are crazy expensive right now, especially last minute, like more than $200, like nothing cheaper than $200. So I might just keep on driving, find somewhere further south, and then explore elsewhere tomorrow, maybe Monument Valley. All right, so anyways, now I have to go back in time a little bit to 2016 when I met Rosie Gabriel. Now, she is a motorcycle enthusiast as well, and a very adventurous one, currently in Pakistan, and has a definite love affair with Pakistan, and has posted a lot of really amazing videos from there. Also, Oman, and we had just kind of been in touch randomly, and then happened to be in California at the same time in 2016. And for anyone who saw my movie, Broken Down, my true story of getting lost in the wilderness about the Marble Mountains of Northern California, then this is when I was on my way to go do that trip. Obviously, completely oblivious to the fact that my truck was about to break down, and I was going to go through that whole ordeal just a few days later. But I was driving down from Oregon in the truck that my brother had just given to me in eastern Oregon, and I'd driven across Oregon, was camping along the way, and was driving down to Northern California, and Rosie was like driving up California, and somehow our paths were going to be crossing, and so we planned to meet up, and we met at this campground somewhere in Northern California, right near the Redwoods, and camped there for the night. She was, I think, with her dog. I forget. Anyway, she has a dog that is on many of her adventures. And so we camped for the night, and then the next day went on a hike in Redwood National Park, and then I said goodbye, and that was it. But then a couple years later, in 2018, then I was in United Arab Emirates, and she was there at the same time, and we met up again there at a travel, like sort of a conference kind of a thing, with people telling their personal travel adventure stories and stuff like that. Very cool event going on there. And so that was the last time that I saw her. And so now, fast forwarding to, I think the next time that I ran into a fellow travel vlogger was just earlier this year, 2021, in Tulum, Mexico. I came across Haley Dasovich, who is from the San Francisco area. Her brother is Will Dasovich, another very popular YouTuber. And so I was in Tulum, and I was not in touch with her at all. I have seen her videos and had posted some comments, but hadn't been in contact with her. And I was biking back from the beach, and I biked past her and some guy, I guess her boyfriend. And she didn't notice me, but I just kind of got a quick glance at her, and then turned around, biked back, and yelled after her and got her to stop. And stopped and talked with her for a few minutes. Now, she's a quite adventurous girl as well, and she kind of inspired me to go back and do the Langtang trek in Nepal for a second time. I had done that trek in the Himalayas of northern Nepal near the Tibet border in 2014, before the earthquake. And then she posted a video saying that she was going to do that trek. And I posted a comment under the video saying, you're going to be walking over the landslide that buried a village during the 2015 earthquake. And she replied to it and said, wow, crazy, I'll look for that or whatever. And sort of because of her video she then posted about her trek, I thought, you know what, I want to go back and do that trek again and experience the landslide, you know, the horrible disaster of literally an entire village being buried by a big cliff face that came down and just buried it in just like hundreds of feet of rubble. And so in 2019, then I went back and did that trek again for the second time. Wow, this is really cool. Now, speaking of Nepal, I have to go back in time again to 2019 because when I was in Kathmandu getting ready for that Langtang trek, then I ran into Harold Balder, a very popular YouTuber, travel vlogger. He makes like very kind of little editing, long clips, long videos of all kinds of adventures and interactions with all kinds of interesting characters. And so the first time that I was in touch with Harold Balder was actually when I was in Kiev, Ukraine, and he'd seen that I was in Ukraine and sent me a message saying that he was there and would you like to meet up. But I was just leaving like the next day or later that day or something like that, and so that didn't happen. But then he was posting videos from Nepal, from Kathmandu, hanging out with that taxi driver and stuff. I don't think that he really went beyond Kathmandu. I guess it was just a Kathmandu visit. He didn't do a trek or anything. But I sent him a message and said, hey, if you're still in town, then we could meet up. And he said yes. He was like leaving later that same evening, but he was free for the afternoon. And so we planned to meet up. And as I showed in a video of mine in Kathmandu, I was going back to my room to get ready and then go meet him at this restaurant for lunch. And I ran into him on the way to the room unexpectedly, and he ended up being in my video because of that. So Himalayas generally means in the mountains, but not to the peaks. Yo! Here we go. Exactly. Here's Harold. Awesome. So I was on my way doing like a little loop, and then gonna meet you there. But let's go ahead.
Now I'm here. So.
Yeah.
Where have you been so far?
So far, just in Kathmandu. Cool guy, Harold Balder. Check him out. And of course, associated with Harold is Bald and Bankrupt. Ben from England. Harold is from Norway, and Harold, Balder, and Ben from Bald and Bankrupt have been in a lot of videos together on various adventures. I have never met Ben. I did correspond with him a couple of times. I forget why. I think I like sent him an email and asked him what kind of a camera he was using because I liked his camera. And he replied back and said, hey, if you're ever in England, feel free to stop by for a beer. But Ben is currently posting videos from Russia on a epic train journey across Russia. Really interesting stuff. He like always gets out, you know, way beyond the tourist places and shows the kind of real life and very remote places and stuff like that. So good stuff. Bald and Bankrupt. And so lastly here, getting to just a few weeks ago when I was in New York City, and I was staying in the city there on Manhattan for 3 days with no plans to film, mostly just planning to catch up on my editing. I was way behind with the editing, and so I just spent the day, like all day, in my room editing a video, and then I go out to get some dinner, and I step out of my hotel room, go to the right, walk about 10 steps, and then Drew Binsky is walking towards me with another guy. And so I stopped him and talked with him for a few minutes. He, I believe, has now visited every country in the world. I could be wrong. Maybe he still has like 1 left, but I know that at the time he had 2 left to visit. In my video in which I mentioned him in New York City, because I ended up filming a video there in New York, then I think that I said he was still needing to visit Jamaica and Saudi Arabia, and I think I got that wrong. I think it was Jamaica and Palau, and he posted something on Instagram from Palau, and so he might have visited every country in the world now. So very adventurous stuff there. Check him out, Drew Binsky. And then lastly, I'll mention Casey Neistat. So I ended up filming a whole video searching for Casey Neistat in New York City. I sort of forgot to explain, you know, at the beginning of that video, like who he was for those who didn't know, but he is not exactly a travel vlogger, and I didn't exactly meet him, but he posts videos from all over the world. But he is kind of the king of vlogging in a way. Most of his videos were filmed in New York City while he was living there. And so they aren't exactly like travel vlogs, but they are, you know, definite vlogging of his day and various, you know, characters and kind of fun and quirky incidents that he gets in, you know, involved in. But I didn't meet him. I just saw him on his boosted board cruising with a camera down the street while I was having lunch, and so didn't exactly meet him, but he is a expert professional editor, and so a good guy to follow for like editing tips and just storytelling, and just kind of the style of his videos are very good. He has like 12 million followers, and he's done all kinds of other videography type of work, advertising stuff for Nike and various other companies, and he's been in movies with like Jamie Foxx, I think. You know, he's not really an actor, but just like bit parts, but he's kind of been all over the place. So definitely a interesting guy, and he tells a lot of like stories and life lessons and stuff like that, and so he's worth checking out as well. So my battery here is about to die. That was funny. I was just saying my battery was about to die, and then it died. But luckily I had a spare in my backpack here. So got a ways to go on this hike, I guess. Maybe up and over that stuff there, but this is just phenomenal. But way less people along this stretch of the trail, so that's nice. So I think that I'm going to kind of hoof it here, make some progress, and then show you the arches once I get to them.